Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Hallie. I'm so happy that you're here. Today we're going to be doing a little trend that I've been seeing going around on Book Talk, Bookstagram, BookTube, all of the book social media places essentially. And that is the 10 before the end trend. That like really rhymed. I feel like Dr. Seuss. But essentially it is just a list of 10 books that you really want to read by the end of the year. So these are going to be books that I either am just really excited to read or that I have been putting off for a long time and I would love to be able to read by the end of the year. That way I'm not going into next year with them unread still. Books that intimidate me, but again, I'm trying to like motivate myself to read them by putting them on this list. Or books that I have maybe started forever ago and then never finished that I just need to finish. So lots of different types of books here, but the overarching theme is hopefully I can get through all these books by the end of the year. I don't know how realistic that is because we are halfway through November and then in December obviously we have the holidays and stuff, and I did make quite a big November TBR to begin with. So this is just kind of a list of my hopes and dreams of things that I hope I can accomplish by the end of the year. But if I don't read these by the end of the year, these will probably be higher on the priority list for next year as well. But I just thought that this would be so fun. These are books that I am going to have my eye on throughout the rest of the year and just, like I said, be higher priority. So I'm actually going to be starting off with a book that I don't own yet, and that is because it has not come out yet. This is one that I know for sure 100,000 billion% I will be reading before the end of the year, and I know that because I will be reading it on Kindle Unlimited the day that it comes out. It is The Songbird in the Heart of Stone. You guys have heard me talk about this about a billion times by this point. It is the third book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, which is currently my second all-time favorite romantasy series right now. If you have not read those books, seriously, I'm gonna say it in every single video, I am begging you to read them because they are just so good. If you like ACOTAR, Powerless, like if that is your vibe, I really think that you will like those books. They're so good. But yeah, this is the third book in that series. It's coming out, I think when this is posted, I think there's only like 3 days until it comes out, so I'm so excited. So far, all of the reviews that have come through of like ARC readers and stuff, so far everyone is loving it, and from what I have seen of like little hints and teasers from it, I think I'm gonna absolutely eat it up. It might be another 5-star in the series. I'm so excited. But yeah, we are starting off the list strong with a book that I am highly anticipating, is a 5-star prediction for me. I'm going to read it as soon as it comes out. There was no way that I could not start this list with that book. I had to. I think that honestly, I may be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure that is kind of like the last anticipated release, for me at least, for 2024. Like I don't think anything else is coming out until like January that I'm kind of like looking forward to or anticipating. So very excited for that. The next 3 books are all books that really intimidate me, and in a perfect world I would just read these back to back and get through them and love them and enjoy them and all of the things, but for some reason I'm still so excited about all these, but when I think about picking them up and reading them, it just stresses me out. I don't know why, like I genuinely don't know why. The first one is One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. This one I literally bought like last summer and I was so excited about it. I think that this is supposed to be like a Romeo and Juliet, like, well, not retelling, like it's based on Romeo and Juliet basically, but like not Romeo and Juliet, but like, what is that called? Retelling, like whenever something is like loosely based on the same concept. I don't know if I'm using the right wording, but that's essentially what it is. It's like a Romeo and Juliet-esque type of story, except I believe it's with vampires. I did get the Barnes & Noble special edition because I think it is just beautiful. The end papers on this book, hello, are so beautiful. I believe that these are the 2 like mafia families, like the front versus the back. Overall, it was just like a really beautiful book. It's about vampires, which I typically love vampire things, and I've heard nothing but good things about Olivia Blake as well. So that's kind of like why I picked it up, but I'm just like so intimidated by Olivia Blake's writing. I don't know why I'm intimidated by her writing, but I just am. So the synopsis of this one says, on one side of the conflict are the Antonova sisters, each one beautiful, cunning, and ruthless, and their mother, the elusive supplier of premium intoxicants known only as Baba Yaga. On the other side side, the influential Fedorov brothers serve their father, the crime boss known as Koschy the Deathless, whose community extortion ventures dominate the shadows of magic Manhattan. After 12 years of tenuous coexistence, a change in one family's interest causes a rift in the existing stalemate. When bad blood brings both families to the precipice of disaster, fate intervenes with a chance encounter, and in the aftershocks of a resurrected conflict, everyone must choose a side. As each of the siblings struggles to stake their claim, fraying loyalties threaten to rot each side from the inside out. If, that is, the enmity between empires doesn't destroy them first. So I feel like that synopsis kind of explains why I'm intimidated by this. I feel like I'm going to read this and not understand what's going on. Like, some books I feel like I'm just like not smart enough to understand. That's like not even saying anything like bad about myself. I just genuinely feel like I will constantly be lost and it will like take away from the book and make me not enjoy it as much. But I feel like I like the premise at the same time, and I feel like the setting of this book I really would like. So I don't know. I'm very intimidated by this book though. So I would love to be able to get to this one by the end of the year. Who knows? The next one that I have that is very intimidating to me is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. First of all, this is like one of the most beautiful books that I own, I think, and it's also like the 10th anniversary edition, so it has like illustrations in the book. Like, it just is a really beautiful book, and the premise of this book is amazing. Like, I genuinely think that I would love it. Essentially, it is about a girl who, like, in the 1800s, I think it says. Oh, in the 1700s. It starts in France, 1714. She's on the verge of death, and she makes a magical deal to, like, save her life. But the cost of that deal is that for the rest of her existence, like, she'll never die, but for the rest of her existence, no one will ever remember who she is. Essentially, 300 years later, she ends up running into a man in a bookshop or a cafe or something like that, and he remembers her, and that is the story that you're following. I guess that's literally all I know about it, and I just feel like this is going to be a beautiful emotional story, and I feel like I'm gonna really love it because after reading a different variety of romances, a type of romance that I really like is very lyrical and meaningful and sentimental and just emotional, like deeply emotional romances, and I feel like that is what this is going to give. However, the one thing that like intimidates me and makes me nervous with it is that people say it starts off really slow, and honestly, like the first half of it is really slow, and it just like is this overall slower paced story and like not necessarily action filled, and it's a very long book. So I am just worried that I will end up getting bored or something, and then it will be really hard to get through the whole thing. I don't know. But that is this one, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I really would love to get to this by the end of this year. But again, another thing with all these is like they're all like kind of longer books, and so that's why I'm like, yeah, I would love to get to these by the end of the year, but I just like don't know if I'll have the time through the holiday season to get through these like thick girlies, you know? The next one that I have is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Did I say her name right this time? I did. Can I get a round of applause? I did not call her Leigh Darbugo. Wait. Is that even what I was calling her? Leigh Bardugo. Leigh Darbugo? Oh, I was saying Leigh Dubargo. If you haven't seen my previous videos, just ignore this segment, but I'm very proud of myself for getting that right on the first try. Anyway, this book I have been trying to read since like January, and I'm not even like being dramatic. This has been on my TBR probably like 4 or 5 times throughout this year, and I just have not gotten to it. I did start it in January, and I think I got like probably 50 pages in, and I just, you know, I don't know. I just wasn't in it enough, I guess. And then I got scared, and so I put it down and I never picked it back up. On my November TBR video, somebody commented, I forget if it was 5 or 6 months, but they're like, month 5 of me asking you to read Six of Crows. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. The fact that you have been asking me for 5 months in a row, when I do read this, the reading vlog will be dedicated to you. Thank you for sticking around and patiently waiting for me to get to this. I'm afraid for this one. I don't know, especially after reading the first 50 pages and not being super into it. I'm just nervous. I don't know. What I do know about it, it is a group of like 6 friends or something like that, and they all have like unique abilities. I don't know if they're necessarily all magical. They might be kind of like they're just gifted at doing like a certain type of thing, but they have to work together to pull off a heist or something like that. And that's quite literally all I know. I don't even remember really like anything that I read in January. Whenever I go to read this, I'll probably just restart from the beginning again, because if you were to ask me like what happened, I genuinely could not tell you. Like, I don't remember what I read. So that is this one. I'm so sorry if anyone else has been looking forward to me reading that literally all year, and it is now almost December and I'm like, maybe I'll read it, like maybe I'll try. I'm so sorry. The next one that I have on my list is actually another one that was suggested to me by one of you guys. It is This Is How You Lose the Time War. This was suggested to me after I read Happy Place and really loved it. The person who commented said that this gave them the same feeling that I was describing having like when I read Happy Place, and so of course when I read that comment, I immediately ordered the book because Happy Place is like a 6-star read for me. It was so good. And then I started reading it, and I think again I got like 30 pages into this one, and it's not very long. Like it's only, yeah, it's less than 200 pages. It's like 198 pages long. I got 30 pages into this, realized I had no clue what was going on, and I also was like really struggling to pay attention. Like it took me so long just to get through 30 pages of this. Because they said that this gave them the same feeling that I was describing about Happy Place, I really want to like make sure that I'm in the right like mindset to fully enjoy this, because I feel like based off the premise too, like I feel like I really will enjoy this, and this will be another one of those kind of like deeply emotional and like really impactful reads. So that's why I put this one down, and I haven't picked it up since then because that did kind of intimidate me, like the fact that I got 30 pages into it and like, you know what I'm saying? But I also will say that entire like weekend, my brain felt so like discombobulated. I don't know if it was like an ADHD thing or what was going on, but it wasn't even just this book. Like my brain was all over the place that entire weekend. So I feel like that probably played a part into it too. So I would love to give this one another try. I feel like reading this in December would be like cute and cozy too. So yeah. After that, I have 3 books that I'm like 99% sure, basically 100% sure that I'm gonna read by the end of the year, because all of these were on my November TBR as well. I have Quicksilver. If you have not heard of Quicksilver, this is like a super viral romantasy book right now. It's essentially about this human girl who accidentally opens a portal to a magical world where there is like a century-long Fae war going on, and she kind of gets like put directly into the middle of that, and that's basically what you're following. I know for sure I'm going to finish this one by the end of the year because I have already started reading this one and I'm eating it up. It's so good so far. But I had to include this in the list because I have had this on my TBR for the last like 2 or 3 months, I think, and I didn't get to it. And this is honestly one of my most highly anticipated reads for the rest of the year. Like probably top 5, I would say, anticipated reads. So I had to include her on the list. The next 2 are Empire Storms and Tower of Dawn. This is the Throne of Glass tandem read. I included these on the list because I feel like at the rate that I'm going, if I do not buckle in and get through these by the end of December, someone needs to come and sue me. Like, I'm making such good progress in Throne of Glass. I am fully in like the fantasy mindset, so this is like the perfect time for me to read these. I feel like with Throne of Glass specifically, something about like the way that it's written, it's really helping my brain to go directly like from book to book to book, because a lot of times I'll like read one book in a series and then like take a long break, and then I'll be able to pick up the next one just fine. I don't really struggle too much to remember previous details in a series, but for some reason with Throne of Glass, I feel like if I wouldn't have gone back to back to back, I probably would have gotten a little bit slumped out, just because Throne of Glass is so different to ACOTAR. Like, I feel like it's more good in the way that you like get connected to the characters, at least so far. I will say maybe there's a lot more, you know, craziness, but I feel like the vibe of it is so different from ACOTAR. Like, it's the same but different, if that makes sense. And so I have been really enjoying, and I'm really glad that I decided to just do the books kind of like back to back or a lot closer together. So I really like need to read these so I can like keep it going. I actually just placed a pickup order for some tabs so I can like tab out the entire tandem read. I think I have decided that I am just going to do like I feel like this has a name, but I literally like don't know what it is. Like, I cannot remember. I saw someone post it the other day, but I cannot remember what it's called. But it's essentially just where you listen to an audiobook while reading to like help your attention span. I think I'm going to be doing that for the tandem read because I don't think that I have the attention span for that. But yeah, I'm going to tab out the entire thing. I'm so excited to do that. I feel like it's gonna be so satisfying to go through and tab the whole thing. But yes, these are definitely very high on the priority list of books to finish by the end of the year. The last 2 books that I put on this list are 2 thrillers, and these thrillers I specifically want to read by the end of the year because I feel like these 2 are perfect winter reads, specifically for like going through December. I don't know what it is about them, but in my brain they just are like December reads. I have been waiting all year to read them, but I do this thing where I will like put off books until a season comes, and I'll be like, oh, this will be perfect for September, this will be perfect for October, and so I won't read it like any of the previous months of the year. But then October will come, and guess who doesn't read the book? It's me. I don't know why I do that. Like, I will literally be like, oh, this will be the perfect time, and then I just don't read it. So I wanted to include these on the list to hopefully like keep them in the forefront of my brain so I don't forget like, hey, you wanted to read these all year in December. The first is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This is a mystery thriller set at a wedding, which I think is so cool. I've never read a thriller like set at a wedding. The back of the book says, an exclusive wedding on a remote Irish island. The bride, the plus one, the best man, the wedding planner, and the bridesmaid. They all have a secret, they all have a motive, but only one is a murderer. So I feel like even just from the cover, this is just gonna be like perfect for a nice little winter thriller. I really feel like some of my favorite thrillers have like winter vibes because like I really love like Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, and that one is set at an Airbnb in the middle of a snowy forest. I don't know. I just really like that vibe for thrillers. I don't know why. And then we have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. This is another one that I've been holding on to for the longest time, and I have to read this in December. Like, I have to, because it's just the perfect time for it. This one says, after years of avoiding one another, Daisy Darker's entire family is assembling for Nana's 80th birthday party in Nana's crumbling Gothic house on a tiny tidal island. They're finally back together one last time, and when the tide comes in, they'll be cut off from the rest of the world for 8 hours. See, that alone I feel like is such a good setting for a book. Like, they're on an island and like have no way out. Like, there is no way they can escape unless they like swim across, which no one's gonna do that. The family arrives, each of them harboring secrets. Then at the stroke of midnight, as a storm rages, Nana is found dead. An hour later, the next family member follows. Trapped on an island where someone is killing them one by one, the Darkers must reckon with their present mystery as well as their past secrets before the tide goes out and all is revealed. So yeah, really excited for this one, especially because, like I said, I read Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney when did I read that? I don't remember when I read that, but I read that. That's the only other Alice Feeney book that I have read. It is one of my only 5-star thrillers. Like, I think that I only have like 2 or 3 5-star. Well, I think I only have 2 adult 5-star thrillers, and then I have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is like a mystery thriller, but it's YA, 5 stars. So take that as you will, but I have high hopes for this. Honestly, both of these are 5-star predictions for me. I just feel like I'm really going to love those. I'm so excited to read more mystery thrillers. I honestly really love mystery thrillers, but I've been in such a romantic mood that that's been like all I've been reading. So I'm really excited to have a few highly anticipated mystery thrillers. With that being said, that brings me to the end of my list. All 10 books minus The Songbird and the Hearthstone, because I don't have that one yet, but I will be going out to purchase that as soon as it drops. But yeah, those are 10 books I would love to be able to read by the end of the year, kind of at the top of my brain, or books that I have been putting off that I really want to get through by the end of the year. Hopefully, who knows? Let me know if you enjoyed this video. I feel like I want to start making more sit-down videos as well as reading vlogs. I've kind of been focusing on reading vlogs, but I am thinking about branching out, especially going to the next year, with more sit-down videos and regular vlogs, reading vlogs, just different types of content. But yeah, let me know what some of your 10 before the end books are for you, books that are highly anticipated for you, or just that you have been putting off like I have. That's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!